Hello out there, thanks for joining us on Political Platform. This is your daily program for reports and in-depth analysis of current political developments and events in Nigeria. You can join us, as we always say, through any of the three major platforms of DAR Communications: Raypower FM, Africa Independent Television, AIT, and the Political Platform YouTube channel. Just search at Raypower, and you get us live, just as you are hearing us now. I am Okiri Agbonsuremi, always excited to have you, and particularly when we have your mails with us through Political Platform at darkgroup.com, where you share with us your views, what you also see around your corner, and those things we cannot quickly see, you see it and you send it to us, and we are glad to share it with you. If you believe that Honorable Kingsley Chinda left the position of minority leader in the House of Representatives under controversial circumstances, the process for the replacement is proving to be even more contentious and controversial. Chinda's departure has ignited a struggle for his replacement amongst members from minority parties in the House of Representatives. The outspoken Honorable Imo Ikenga Gochinere said he is irrepressible, and the House Deputy Spokesperson, Honorable Philip Agbese, were in a fierce disagreement yesterday on the floor over the issue. We will be giving you the details, how it played out, and how the speaker managed to move it out to the an area where they can quickly go and sort it out. We will give you all the analysis as we see it. If there's a disagreement, they should quickly settle it. The federal government said yesterday that the framework for constitutional and other legal works for the creation of state police is nearing completion. The government said significant progress had been made towards establishing state police, with a constitutional amendment expected soon, following months of consultations amongst the executive, the National Assembly, and security authorities. I hope we hear the last, but we'll also be giving you our opinion about the state creation, how we believe that it is one step forward, 5 steps backward, and if the framework is just nearing completion, why we think it should have gone past this stage. On today's program, we'll be joined by Mrs. Victoria Etta Mercy, the Director of Voter Education and Publicity at the Independent National Electoral Commission. Our goal is to support the electoral body, that is INEC, in building voter confidence in the electoral process as we approach the 2027 elections. And we believe that we can help encourage young people who are eligible to vote, those who have moved residences, and then encourage them to move their voting points to where they currently are. We all must participate. Some people say this 2027 elections is one that they must take part in, and I support that. My colleagues are here. Uju Eje, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Ohire.
And Mechi Anakwe is also on the program.
Good morning.
Mustafa Mohammed, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
Now, the plenary session of the House of Representatives became chaotic yesterday when Honorable Philip Agbese alleged that his signature was forged on the circulated list of opposition members endorsing Ikenga Ugochinyere as minority leader. By yesterday evening, after that riotous debate, Ugochinyere released photos and videos showing Agbese allegedly signing the endorsement list in his office. And the debates also arose regarding Ugo Chinere's eligibility to lead members who have been in the House for up to 10 years, considering that he has only been there for barely 3 years. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas now quickly stated that the matter should be addressed at the level of Minority Caucus meeting. Gentlemen and lady. Well, you have been in the House for a very long time.
Yes.
Right. So,
you see, the House Minority Caucus has been weakened as far back as the 7th, 8th Assembly. Okay, minus the time that Bukola Saraki was Senate President, because that session infused some measure of sanity in the National Assembly. Coming to this time, you notice that we are only hearing about the Minority Caucus now that they're having this kind of problem.
so
They are as good as not being there. When you talk in terms of lawmaking, their contribution, what they are able to fight for the ordinary Nigerian. Now you talk about
together as opposition.
As opposition, they have not been able to influence the laws and decisions coming. Yes, you have people like Ikweche, Ugo Chinyere and co making efforts, but those are like very singular efforts, like drops in an ocean. When you talk in terms of a group known as the minority, nothing much is really happening coming from them. Now, you talk about ranking, because that's what it's about. Yes. Now, yes, people like Frederick Agbedi and co have been there. This is their 3rd term. So you could say, oh, let's look at these people because of experience and everything. But you notice that Ugo Chinyere himself is also a highly experienced person in terms of money, his background coming from student unionism to
his legal background.
Yes, his legal background and all of that. So I do not think that because he's been there for 3 years, he may not be able to, but the law of the National Assembly gives preference to ranking members.
Now, let's, Amechi, Akpabio became minority leader on his very first day in the Senate. How do we, when people begin to say, you are not old enough, you are old enough, it's like they look at the face of the individual and say, okay, you can go even when you are not old enough, you are not a ranking member. It's playing up here in the House of Representatives.
Yes, exactly. The issue of principal officers, because it forms part of the principal officers of the National Assembly. You have the presiding officers, the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Senate President, and Deputy Senate President. The way they emerge in the past has been changed entirely. If you say minority leader, it should be a decision taken by the minority political parties, minority caucus, and minority parliamentarians. But in the last 3 years assembly, we have seen some machinations by the ruling party to influence who will emerge, different from the wishes of the minority parties and caucus themselves. So perhaps this will be an opportunity for the minorities to really stand up to their right and say, this is our own choice in terms of who, because you compromise their position.
Which political party now has amongst the minorities? Because it used to be PDP.
Yes.
I don't know what has happened.
You have the NDC, you have the ADC, and so many. So it's a multitude of political parties.
I thought what has taken place in the past is that the minority with the majority presents a candidate.
Yes.
In consultation with the other parties, and they agree. But the thing, the dramatic thing that played out in the House of Representatives with Agbese standing up on the floor of the House to deny that he signed. He accepted that he went to visit Ugo Chinyere in his office at the National Assembly, but he did not sign. Not long after, footages emerged.
I actually saw somebody signing. I want to say he's signing. I saw somebody in the video signing.
Appeared to be Agbese. And Agbese has not spoken up since then. He needs to speak, because if he could stand up alleging that his privileges have been breached, and we later see videos appearing to show him signing, then he has breached the entire privileges of members of the National Assembly. If he doesn't speak up, the speed with which he rose up to deny that he signed, I expect him to also use that speed to speak to the video we saw, because if the video is true, it tells a lot about his personality.
Even
it
his
tells us
moral
that perhaps this is someone that integrity may be a scarce commodity in his side.
Mustafa, I wanted to comment on this as well as the state, the creation of, they said significant progress has been made with regard to the state police creation.
You know, basically, such scandals in the National Assembly usually end within the National Assembly. It may not be actionable, like Salisu Buhari's forgery that was discovered when he was a speaker. I believe this is a matter the National Assembly, the House of Reps, members and leadership will be able to solve among themselves. But you know, it's actually a forgery when you are alleged to have forged some other person's signature. And then coming...
It's a criminal offense.
It is. And then coming back to the issue of state creation.
I think the video is what we are seeing now that Gochire brought out. We saw some movement there, but let's continue to talk.
Let's see whether he will drop the lines or not.
You see, we started from various regions after the bloody tribal coup that eliminated political leaders from parts of Nigeria. Ironsi became the military head of state and created some states. Murtala came. He did his own, if I'm correct, to 19. And then Babangida, Abacha states were created. Nigeria has 36 states, including the FCT. But the fundamental question you are going to ask is, even the current states are only waiting for most of them, the federal allocations, to be able to survive. Now, if you create additional states, what are the sources of their internally generated revenue? And secondly, if you are thinking of development, is it not the same political leaders that will go back to those small new units as state to contest and become governors? The development that they cannot give to the bigger state,
yes, go ahead. Just conclude.
The development that they cannot give to the bigger state, they cannot give it to the smaller state. Just like the Southern Sudan, when they were the whites were alleging that the Arabs were killing blacks, let's give a new nation to the black nations, the people in the Southern Sudan. Independence was declared. The following day, my black brothers carried firearms and started killing them.
Let's take a look at it. Let me open up the issue of state police. That the presidency said yesterday that significant progress was made. It's nearing commission, the framework. And I was wondering, what is nearing? How do you define nearing?
It's in the
commission?
pipeline.
It's in the pipeline. Now, if
we want it to be out, not in the
if we want to
pipeline.
be serious, if the federal government want to be serious, and I also pointedly say it, that if President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is serious about state creation, he knows what to do.
The state police creation.
State police creation, if he's serious about creating police in the states, he knows what to do, not this rigmarole that we are walking about. Let me lay the foundation. Now, the question is, are we creating the state police in isolation of all the other necessary structures that should be created? Where will be the states get the funding? What is going to be the revenue formula that will exist that the states will have to fund the police? And there are so many other things that should get the president to fulfill his promise of restructuring, the one that APC promised. That, look, they will restructure Nigeria to make it work. As it is, Nigeria cannot work. And we know, if you create the state police without all the other structures created to support it, I can tell you that there are some states in Nigeria that cannot.
Ohiria, one thing you have to know is that every length and breadth of this country is lined with either mineral or something that can help it to survive. What we have had over the years, because of the oil from the Niger Delta, is that governors, leaders have become mentally lazy, and they are not harnessing the potentials within their states in order to fund the states, because they know that at the end of every month, FARC is there to give them money. Tell me which state in this country does not have something
Do the states have access to mineral resources in the area? Do we have resource control?
Is it
not the federal government that is the mining and doing all the things?
The only one we know is the Niger Delta that the federal government has, made pronouncement on, that the federal government is in charge. Now you talk about the gold in Zamfara and all the others. The government has not really come out to say this is it. To talk about the minerals in the core north central, northwest, there are minerals everywhere. Nobody has made any pronouncement on that. I don't want to start another agitation, but again, President Bola Tinubu, when you talk about him knowing what to do, he was a member of NADECO. He was a member of Afenifere, if I may put it that way. And Afenifere was so involved in agitation.
He was the governor of Lagos State, and he had clamored for this.
Exactly. He clamored for it. Sovereign National Conference, he clamored for resource control. Even if you remember when he was governor of Lagos State, when the governors were having this Southern Governors meeting, he was very, very vocal about resource control.
He created local governments.
Exactly, so he knows what to do. And he has been involved in that agitation. He shouldn't renege now.
So Nigerian political leaders are being clever by half with their approach to state police. They know what the problems are, but because of political interest, expediency, they will not do what is right. There is no federal system of government in the whole world that does not have, I'm not just saying state police, multiple policing system. You have federal, you have states, regional, you have counties. We should not just be talking about state police in Nigeria. We should be also talking about local government police system. That will really local government. Town and Ogbomosho should have a police system as first responder. State police will come in to supplement. Then federal will come in case of emergencies like we have now. We operate a unitary system of government we call a federal system. And you have said rightly that until we sit down to take a look at the structural foundations of our federation, we'll be chasing shadows. The issue of insecurity will override us, and they know what to do. There have been bills in the National Assembly since the time of Ekweremadu in the National Assembly. I remember he presented one well-codified bill. If the president sends a bill, all these meetings, all these going up and down, consultations, if he sends a bill to the National Assembly seeking for the establishment of a state police by way of amending the Constitution, within 2 weeks they can get it done. And like you said, there are other concomitant actions that should follow. Federal government is still taking bulk of revenue from the federation account, even though it's the states that are funding the police as we speak. As police commissioners, they cannot operate without state government. So we need to rediscover our country, take hold of our country, do the right thing, and deal with insecurity.
You see, there are a lot of fears. We know our governors organize talks, arm them, give them weeds, and they attack people during elections or even primaries. Now, you create state police and then allow these governors to recruit. Who do you think they are going to recruit? They are going to recruit their talks, and they will make sure these police go after every person they deem as an opponent. And of course, beyond that, what we need to do is to equip with logistics the federal police first, give them welfare, give them all the gadgets they need to operate. They don't have to look for kobo on the highway. And of course, one of the problems of insecurity, I've always said on this forum, is poverty. Beyond the Niger...
Sorry, Mustafa, I want to ask you, I want to interject so that we get it clear. Is the federal government not using the federal police to oppress everybody in Nigeria as we speak?
Exactly.
Are we not having the federal government determining who is police and who is not police? Exactly. Have we not had in the past where governors' security aids were withdrawn by the federal government? I mean, is it not better to democratize the police and the oppression so that the governors themselves...
Then you give everybody... That means you give...
It is not logical to think that because the state government, the states would abuse it. But let me allow you to conclude.
You see, Ndaba, like in Kano, Farasuka, Ekomog, and Kalari were all armed thugs of the state governors. What do you think they will do if they are in control of the state police? What we are saying is that you can create 10, 20 million police, you can recruit them, but there are some basic issues on the ground that leads to crime and unrest.
Oh, here.
Let me finish, Amechi. You need to address those basic issues. If you are we just spoke about oil in the Niger Delta. There's oil everywhere now. There are ways you can bring investors that both the state government and the federal will benefit. There's oil in Bauchi, Gombe, Kogi, Sokoto,
on the
and but nowhere I come
control
from.
of place, on the excesses, we must, and that should be the narration or the discourse on the table. How do we isolate and insulate federal security agencies from manipulation by the ruling party? It shouldn't just be at the federal, at the states. That's the conversation we should be having, not whether we should have state police or not. The federal police is being manipulated. You saw what happened to a group of the PDP now in Abuja. Was it last week?
They were moving away from
the police just, in a most partisan manner, chase them away and all that. So if they can do it at the federal level, if the state can do it, the conversation should be, what institutional mechanisms do we bring in to
Make sure
prevent
that
that?
The truth is that there is a security emergency in Nigeria as we speak. The fear in the populace is very high. So whatever it will take to solve that problem now is what we should be looking at. If the governors will bring their whatever, and those people can take care of us, yes, and they can take care of the security situation, they can do the job, then let them go ahead and do it. We need to take care of the immediate situation. This one that somebody is saying that, oh, maybe it will take another 4 years or not. God help us with what is going on right now in the next 4 years.
Because what I'm also getting, I hope that my sources are correct, is that the mechanisms, the framework they are setting in place is not actually going to be automatic. It will take a period of time. Some say up to 4 years before the will now complete. So this progress we are talking about now, that the presidency is talking about, is going to be progress until maybe 2031. And I'm asking, is our president, if that is correct, is our president really serious?
We don't want
there are models
progress.
There are models that some governors have adopted, like Governor Professor Zulum of Borno. During Kashim, the current vice president, when he was a governor, they adopted a model. They recruited young neighborhood volunteers to serve as civilian JTF. They work in collaboration with the army and the Nigerian police force. They are still doing, they have uniforms, they have allowances, they have been trained.
Do they have guns?
They do.
Okay.
You find various checkpoints.
So we already have a semblance of even the state
Exactly.
police.
They are doing very well. You know, when IBB became president, there were things he did as head of state that captured a lot of youth out of restiveness and lack of job. He created things like federal road safety and so many other arms. So the state government can as well adopt the model of Baba.
You know the difference? Let me tell you the difference. The difference is that on election day, the IGP will announce that no other security operatives, apart from if they need Federal Safety Commission to help maintain, if they need the customs at the borders, if they need the immigration at wherever, no other state other apparatus that is created by the state is allowed to come out on election day. So these security people you are talking about, the vigilantes, are not allowed to come, even if they have the gun. It is one of the ways the federal government is continuously holding on to this security apparatus to oppress everybody, including the state governors that are not in tune with what they do, including politicians that are not in tune with what they do. So that is why we are hearing we are making significant progress. How long are we going to be making significant progress on a matter that we should sit down? If they want to approve loans, does it take how many hours does it take to approve loans?
And who administer criminal justice, for example, if there's a murder case? Who prosecutes, the federal police or the state police?
No, they have the army. That's what Amechi said. Look,
The frameworks.
We
Yes,
should
the
put an
framework will be worked out.
We have to put a framework that will accommodate the restructuring that we are talking about.
Especially now that there have been a lot of ethnic, religious, regional tensions for over 20 years in this country. People just wake up and kill their neighbors, eliminate communities because you are either a settler or you are original indigenous. And then the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria gives us freedom to settle anywhere. Some, their ancestors have been in a particular place for over 1,000 years. Then suddenly their neighbors wake up to say they have to leave. It's bad.
Mustafa, we are not a serious people. If we are serious people, we know what to do. We can even copy. We don't even need to reinvent any. We just copy. In the United States of America, we saw Mrs. Clinton move from where she was to come and live in New York for a period of time to qualify to contest to the Senate. If that is what we reckon, if I have stayed in Kano for a period and it's set out by the Constitution that if you have lived in a place for 5 years, for 10 years, for 3 years, depending on what we want, that you are entitled to claim indigenship or residency, if it's not even indigenship, residency of that place to contest elections.
A Fulani man was once a mayor in Enugu. I still remember in the early 90s when one Sikiru, a Yoruba young man, contested for councillorship in Sabon Gari Fage, and he won. We should try to adopt an atmosphere which should be automatic, that if you are a Nigerian, wherever you are at home. You should be treated like any other citizen.
The discussion on state police, I like the pressure on the government now because of these kidnappings, because the way Amana Nigerians are being picked, every day you wake up, you see.
Even yesterday, there were alarms
you see
all over.
people panics all over. If we don't
over
put this
Abuja,
pressure, they are so
relaxed.
relaxed. They are so relaxed. They think it's normal. As long as they are safe in their cocoons, they will continue to tell you, oh, plans are in the pipeline to establish state police. Oh, we are deploying this. If we don't put the pressure, they will not take that extraordinary measure that will save Nigeria from being taken over by criminality.
No, there is fire on the mountaintop. And the fire
Nobody
has even
seems to be
left they have to run, and the fire has left the mountain, is coming down. It's coming to everybody, in case you don't know. I mean, if the relation of a minister who just resigned if he can get to them, then it's getting
in broad daylight.
Yes, in broad daylight. It's getting nearer home than we can imagine.
All right, let's take a break.
I pray that God will preserve us, but please let us do what is right. President Bola Tinubu, you know what to do. You were part of that agitation. You worked out even the nitty-gritty of what it should be. Restructuring, let every state determine even the security structure that will best serve its purpose.
And I will add a voice to that, your call, that the president should get serious. That he's not as serious as some of us expect him to be. He should get serious with issues of restructuring this country to accommodate, to make Nigeria work, to accommodate everybody, like Mustafa said, to make it possible for anybody to reside anywhere in this part of the country and feel at home and be able to contest election, live well, join in whatever thing that the community development that is going on in that state. It is not enough to say we are making progress. We are not making any progress. Let's take a break now, and when we come back, we'll be going to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Like I told you earlier, we have a guest in the house who will help us, encourage us to be sure that despite all the challenges, we should be focused on the elections that are coming up. Nobody should be left behind. Stay with us on Political Platform. We'll be back very shortly.
TerraCube, unwrap joy, unleash taste. Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political Platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Ray Power Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as political platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political platform now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
Thank you so much for remaining with us on Political Platform. As preparations intensify for the 2027 general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission is actively mobilizing eligible Nigerians to get ready, as the institution itself is getting ready. They are working to expand the voter register and encouraging individuals to update their voting locations to match their current residencies, and ensuring that when the time comes, they will not be caught napping and traveling to go and vote. However, while the continuous voter registration CVR process continues, reports emerge about breaches in the INEC database. We have in the House Mrs. Victoria Etta Mercy, Director of Voter Education and Publicity at the Independent National Electoral Commission. Thank you so much. We are really glad to have you here this morning. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
Now, let's begin from your preparation. You just came back from the field. I chatted with you yesterday. You said you just came back from you have been out for about 2 weeks, running around the areas to see that the CVR is going on well. First of all, give us an update on what is happening around Nigeria with whether there's enthusiasm, whether people are not coming up, and what is generally happening.
Okay, our field work was actually not just for CVR, because we're preparing for Ekiti in a couple of weeks, Osun as well. So we're actually conducting our voter education interventions in those two states. So we're on to the last phase of voter registration. It was split into 3 phases. This started in August of 2025 in preparation for 2027. The register we had for the 2023 election, we had 93 million voters. And so a lot of people have become eligible since then. And that's why we had to update our register.
And those who also refused to register before.
Exactly. So yeah, so those who have come of age, those who didn't register then, those who have relocated, who need to effect transfers, those who want to update their records as well. Because even if you were registered before, you may have gotten married, and so your name has changed and things like that. And if there were issues with the information we had. So these are the services that we provide. So we've successfully had 2 phases of the registration. The first phase was from August to December 2025. And during that phase, we registered about 4.1 million Nigerians. And then the second phase was from 5th of January to, I think, 17th of April. No, the first phase was 2.7. It was the second phase that we had 4.1. So we're on to the third phase now. We started on the 11th of May. So far, as at the second week of registration, we already had 460,000 registered voters. So I think we're doing well, because the projection actually had been that we're likely not going to have anything less than 10 million added to the original register, and that is what it is looking like. So in the first 2 phases, we have almost 7 million. So it's likely that we'll shoot the 10 million that we projected. Yeah.
Now, let me allow my colleagues to ask some of the questions, but I wanted to ask about young people, actually. I have spoken to young people in the last 2 weeks. Have you registered? They say, our vote don't count. I don't want to register. How are young people?
But they're actually registering. If you look at the data, for instance, for Ekiti, the register that was presented to the political parties, because the law expects that the commission would present the register 30 days to the election to the political parties. The statistics of the youth there is significant. If you look at the current phase, the third phase now, based on the statistics that came out after the second week of registration, 71% of the registrants are the youth.
Madam, what are we putting in to be sure that foreigners don't register to vote? Somebody don't just leave Togo speaking Yoruba and the name is Adebayo or Mohammed from
Niger Republic,
and they just come in and because are we marking out identities?
The new Electoral Act requires or demands that registrants have their name. So that, for instance, is a check, even though many are still trying to resist it because the issue is that, not everybody has a name. But there's provision for that. And we had even started working with NIMC at some point.
Do you register those without name in extreme cases?
We try not to, but we encourage people to go for their name because for now there are still some, if you look at the register, there are still some entries or some names where the name box is empty, but that is the encouragement going forward.
For those registered earlier.
Going beyond that, what is the statistics of people changing their location?
Transfers.
Yes.
Yeah, there quite a number of people are taking advantage of that service, but there are not as many as those who are registering.
Some people are discouraged because they say the process is cumbersome, it's not fast.
It's actually not. Yeah, in the past 2 days, there has been, would I call it a bug? It's just the way you go to the bank and they tell you the system is down. So in the past 2 days, there have actually been complaints. But as of yesterday evening when I made inquiries, I heard it was now up and running.
What does it take?
What does it?
If I register in Lagos and I want to vote in Abuja,
you actually don't need to go to the office. It's something you can do online from your phone, which is why this traffic thing is a problem, or that's why they have been complaining. So for someone who wants to transfer his or her registration, you don't need to physically go to the INEC office. You can do it online.
Let me share some concerns that I do have and people also have with INEC, and it borders on the credibility of that institution created by the Constitution, Independent National Electoral Commission. Now, there's this huge concern out there that the neutrality, credibility of INEC has been on a record low. I don't know whether you get this out there. I don't know whether inside the commission, this is a source of concern because for every democracy and every election, perception of the electoral body of objectivity is crucial to the outcome. So how do you feel inside INEC when this news get out? Oh, data leak, this, that, glitch that happened in 2023, not yet explained, even when there have been promises it to be explained. Is it that INEC has been ignoring this and living like the ostrich? Are you concerned that your credibility is at its lowest ebb?
If you say INEC glossed over the issue of the glitch, that's not true. The former chairman of the commission stated what the problem was. In his 2023 election report, it was clearly stated what the problem was. But somehow, unfortunately, Nigerians have refused to accept that explanation. And we don't know how else to explain it.
What we need to know, what the information that didn't come out, what caused the glitch? Was it error of omission or commission? These things didn't get out.
The explanation,
we were just told that it was a glitch.
The explanation was that in all the other constituency elections, there had been test run ahead of time of the system. But this was a presidential election. So we had not done a demonstration or test of the system at that magnitude. And so by the time we got ourselves into the election, and then you saw that traffic jam, because basically that was what it was. And so that was the main cause of that glitch, that we had not tested at the national level.
If you had this behind your mind,
what
have you done to convince the public that, yes, we recognize that this was what happened, we are taking these steps to be sure that in the next election, the large-scale use of the facilities at the national level will not result in what we got. We have done this. That's what Amechi is talking about.
The current chair has also addressed that issue. He said he acknowledges the what word am I looking for? The baggage that he has somehow inherited. And he says before the 2027 election, there's going to be a sort of demonstration and test of the system at that level.
We have not done the test. We have
we have 7 months. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Maybe we are going to.
We have hurdles. This is Ekiti that we have in the next 2 weeks. After Ekiti, we'll have Osun. After Osun, then we'll face the general election.
Now let me also ask this, following from Amechi's question.
If I can go back to what he said, about the credibility.
Yes.
And I don't know if I should say Nigerians are not being very, very fair, because that's suspicion. Every step you take, someone is breathing down your neck and doesn't even give you the opportunity to see how well you would do something.
Maybe because of your records. Maybe because if you slap me
again that would be unfair. Again that would be unfair on the commission, because it's as if we have not done anything right. So when you project and you touchlight anything that you believe is wrong or is a wrong step or wasn't properly done, but you just set aside everything good that the commission did.
And unfortunately, madam,
that is not fair on the commission.
And unfortunately, madam, each time you are trying to come out of one and paper the cracks around those that happen, another one will happen. Just yesterday, 3 days ago, this week, we have been talking about leaks in your database, and that also added another challenge. How is INEC dealing with this issue? I know they have issued a press statement that there are, in fact, it's all over the place that a person has been arrested, and EO has been arrested, and they are questioning certain persons. How is INEC dealing with this, so that you don't become another layer of areas where people
of crime by the commission? So the moment that information came out, like as was stated in the press release or the press statement, the commission went into action by investigating the source, because the story that was out there was that, we have handed it over to a political party and there was an external hacking. It was not external. It's like it was an in-house thing. It was an infraction by an insider, and the commission was able to track that based on its preliminary investigation. And they've handed over the persons to the security agencies, who are also continuing in their investigation. And when they are done with the interrogation, would know what to do.
For a very long time, talk about this person.
Yes, a registration officer, who had the credentials of that,
now,
of accessing
it was
that.
an infraction, an internal infraction.
Yes.
And it was able to get out to somebody who is not an insider. How are we sure that on other occasions, things like this have not happened and got out to others who are not insiders?
These are mere speculations. These are mere speculations now.
Okay, let me tell you
These are mere speculations now. If you have evidence of it, then you bring it forward.
Nigerians are disturbed. Nigerians are worried, because ordinarily when somebody, a lot of people commit crimes and their names are out there in the open. Why is INEC not telling us who did that terrible thing?
Because the police and the DSS are still conducting their investigation. So until that is finalized, we cannot expose somebody whom we do not have a final verdict on what he or she did.
So investigation continues.
Sorry?
Investigation continues.
Until the police and the DSS are done with it.
In the last Kogi governorship election, there were pre-filled election result form. INEC carried out investigation many years back. Investigation still continuing because there's no finality to that. Pre-filled result sheets in Kogi State governorship election.
Let me also add this to it, madam. So you answer them in block.
Yeah.
The one that is not speculation, you said what the question Uju is asking may be speculation. The one that is not speculation is that when this breach occurred, INEC eternally knew a breach occurred.
Yes, based on its investigation.
Some persons came on this program to say Look, we saw it, and we, in the X platform of INEC, we screenshot it and sent it to them. INEC did not do anything. That is not speculation. They waited until it became a public debate this week before they started
this happened, you're talking of the breach, the data breach.
Yes.
This happened on the 29th. I think the story came out on the 30th. And by the 2nd, the 31st was a Sunday. On Monday, which was the 1st, that was when the commission set up the committee. And by evening, there was a press statement. And they had already had inroads into what they thought had happened.
It took 3 days? Is that what you're saying?
No, it took 2 days.
Is that not too long?
It happened on the 30th, and then by the 2nd, we already knew.
Is that not too? It's a national emergency.
There were series of steps that needed to be taken. They had to interrogate the system. They had to interview the parties who were responsible. And so you don't just jump because, oh, this is what is trending online, and you begin to assume that it is Mr.
Now,
So they needed to be thorough in their
my last question on this is, your data is assessed by those you authorize to, like the registrants, those who are registering if they have access.
By the registration officers.
Yes, yeah. Your EOs who are also their top boss could also, I don't know if they also have access or they are allowed to share.
There are layers of control. There are layers of control.
How do you, people are saying that it is some politically minded persons that determine for INEC those who are recruited as your registrants, and how are they sure that they are not actually politicians who are in charge of the INEC database?
How would you want me to answer that?
Just tell us how you recruit. Tell us how you recruit your officers.
So for now, the registration is at the LGA level. When we step it down to the RA level, the commission does not have the full complement of staff to use at the RA level. But when we are conducting registration at the LGA level, we use staff of the commission. So it could be an outside. So when we want to, most of the time is youth corpers we engage. Most of our registration officers or officials, just like our election personnel, are youth corpers. So how else? We have an understanding with the NYSC. So where else will we go to get angels? These are Nigerians.
Some persons are asking for an independent audit because of the 2023 incident where you became a judge in your own case. That's the way it's perceived, because you were the ones who cleared yourselves. Now, they are asking for an independent audit. Would INEC allow that? So
for the data breach.
To inspire confidence in
the
Nigerians.
Police is in charge. The SSS is involved. The commission has written to the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. And so the commission is willing to cooperate with all of them. We have done our preliminary investigation. We're expecting to hear from them. And I don't see how we would be able to influence the outcome of what the police does, or the DSS, or the Data Protection Commission. So I think we've been as transparent as we can be. I don't know what else you want to advise that we should do with regards to this issue.
I think it's just independent audit. Whether it is the police or it is the DSS, there's a link to all of them from the federal government. Whatever the federal government want, the belief out there is that the INEC is under the control of the federal government. We must admit that. We must say it is a structure that is the president appoints the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
So Nigerians should insist on amending the constitution.
And so I understand.
So
INEC.
Nigerians should insist on amending
I understand the predicament of INEC and the pressures. Because every other problem in Nigeria, Nigerians in the country, the citizens will rush to heap it on INEC during the election. But INEC should also be mindful of its position in the polity. I always advise INEC, perception is stronger than reality.
I agree.
INEC may be forward-thinking, but if it's perceived to be biased, then there's a problem. So you should, as a commission, make sure that not just in reality, but the way Nigerians perceive it. And it boils down to your actions and inactions.
And the media would also have a lot of role to play to help us change this perception, because a lot of times it's the media that pushes it out there that INEC is the worst thing that has happened to Nigeria.
The social media.
So we need to work with the media. They need to trust us first, before others.
You
will
need,
be-
you earn that trust.
I was going to ask
That's
you.
the point.
I was going to ask you for your last comment on this, and how do you assure Nigerians that INEC is not an organ of somebody who can just go there? Some people already say the minister of the FCT, whose aide came up with this, is the owner of some sections of INEC. Tell Nigerians that it is not. We are helping you to let Nigerians know that INEC is an independent.
INEC is not an organ of a person or a body. INEC is independent, is a constitutional body created to serve Nigerians and to conduct elections. We're committed, like I mentioned, and I heard somebody say somewhere, what is the alternative? So if you have no trust in us, I mean, if we fail, it's also not going to augur well for all.
So everybody fail. Yes. Everybody will
so
fail.
we are going to be the first casualty. So we're mindful of that, and we believe that we must do the job we have been given to do. And we plead that Nigerians support us and give us some measure of trust as we try to serve them.
All right. We must thank Mrs. Victoria Etta Mercy, Director of Voter Education and Publicity at the Independent National Electoral Commission. We really do appreciate your candor, and even when we ask those difficult questions.
It's good to see a woman after several men have been director.
And we also hope that you find time to join us as time goes on, so that we begin to assist in building. Like you said, if you fail, all of us will fail.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
And we'll be back shortly. And when we come back, we take your mails and then we wrap up. Don't go away. You are on to Political Platform.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT, on air, online, online.
Thank you so much for remaining with us on the platform. As we wind up, let's get your mails. Uju, who is talking to us?
Dixon Eka in Abuja, and he says, in the last 3 years of President Tinubu, many things have changed. Some of the things that changed are petrol from 230 naira for a liter to 1,370. Cooking gas from 8,000 naira to 22,000. That's the 12.5 kg. Rice from 30,000 naira to over 50,000 naira. Cement from 3,800 to 13,000. Naira from 460 to the dollar to 1,385 to the dollar. Public debts from 46.25 trillion to 159.28 trillion. In all of these, so many revenues have been generated. So much revenue have been generated, so much have been borrowed, yet nothing to show for it. No funding of budget and no fiscal responsibility in the country, with the highest level of nepotism, with only one section and one tribe of Nigeria controlling the presidency, security, fiscal and monetary agencies. The second one is from Comrade Monday Ame, also from Abuja. It says, please permit me to react to your analysis yesterday, in which the crew was vehement in calling for the resignation of the INEC National Chairman, Professor Josh Ojuamupiton. I totally agree with your guest, Mr. James Ugochukwu, that the position of INEC National Chairman is one of the most challenging or tough jobs in the country. Because of the desperation of politicians, even if a saint is appointed to head INEC, he or she will be accused of bias, so long that it does not do the bidding of politicians. I'm convinced that even if the independent investigators are engaged to investigate the glitch or system compromise in INEC and turn in a favorable report clearing the chairman and the commission, the team will be accused of compromise too. I appeal to the crew and indeed all Nigerians to give Professor Mukiton the benefit of doubt. Give him support to succeed.
Let's end with Prosper Heaven from Wusetu in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. And it says the primary responsibility of any government is the protection of lives and property. Unfortunately, many Nigerians no longer feel adequately protected. Security should never be treated as a secondary issue, because without the safety of citizens, every other aspect of national development becomes meaningless. As we approach another election cycle, our leaders must remember that governance is not merely about winning elections, it is about safeguarding the people. After all, if insecurity continues unchecked and lives are continually lost, who will remain to be governed when elections are over?
Please continue to send your mails to us, politicalplatform@darkblue.com. And that's how we're wrapping it all up today on the program. We'll be back on Monday, Monday to Friday, this program runs. My name is Okiri Agbonsoremi. On behalf of my colleagues, I want to ask you to enjoy the weekend, but stay away from trouble.